Welcome to Your Mental Health Matters. This is season 3, and today we are talking about PAWS, and we have a very special guest here. So, Joni, please take over the show with your beautiful dog Penny and tell us all about PAWS.
All right, so this is Penny, and she is part of PAWS. She has been in PAWS for the past year. She just got registered last January 2023. So, yeah, she's been doing it for a year, and she visits different things in the community. So we have the hospital, AHS, Recovery Center, Willow Square, and of course the school. So I bring her to the schools a lot. And yeah, she's doing phenomenal. She loves it. A little bit of history about PAWS. It was originally established in 1989. And 2 individuals in the community of Fort McMurray decided to take their dogs and visit the seniors at the Northern Lights Health Center. And then from there it kind of expanded a little bit, like more members just decided, yeah, I want to join in too. So by 2002 there was 10 members, and then they thought, well, we need a training to go along with that. So they decided to do a little training to go along with it and then build their members from there. And then in, and then in 2010 they joined up with the Canadian Mental Health Association, and then they named it PAWS for People, and that's where like the PAWS for People on her little tag, that's where that comes from.
And you can pet her, right?
Yes.
Because not what is that called? Service dog you cannot.
Yes,
but you
so
can pet her.
Service dog, like for the eye-seeing dog, you can't. But she's a service dog that is invited to like pet me.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, she loves pets.
She wants it now. I can tell she's looking for some attention.
Hello. And then in 2019, PAWS decided to make their own society. So they're the Pets and Wellness Society, PAWS, and that's where PAWS acronym comes from.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I can speak to a little bit because we have PAWS, folks from PAWS that come in and bring their pets into our schools across Fort McMurray. And it might look a little bit different at every school, how they do it. And of course there's a process to setting this up in schools that, you know, parents are informed and allergies are considered and these sorts of things. But once you have that sort of set up, PAWS relies on volunteers, right? Essentially to be bringing their pets in to the various locations, as Joni mentioned. So schools is one of them. And so it could be that they're coming in on a regular basis. It could be that they're doing classroom visits. It could be that it's more individual or small groups of students are invited to come in and spend some time with the pets that are brought into schools. As well as I know in high schools, around exam time, the pets are invited in just as sort of like a calming strategy before students are about to go into exams. So a great support in that sense of things, right? And so I've witnessed it for myself. Kids who, you know, they light up when they see the animals that come into the schools and visit, as well as staff, right? That they're just as excited to see the pets.
Hard not
and you
to.
can just, right? Yeah.
You just want to give her love.
Yeah, they'll get just as much out of it for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a moment, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
moment where you get to stop and pet, and like the excitement and the joy that it brings to people is really quite fabulous. And so it's an opportunity for connection and kind of that emotional regulation piece, as well as giving kids something to look forward to in the week if they know that that's coming. It's sort of a special opportunity, right? And so it just has, PAWS in schools really has a tremendous benefit and impact at our schools.
It has been impactful, and even in the public board as well. We had Penny at our counselors meeting today, and they loved it. They want her to be a part of every counselors meeting we do, because counselors are part of the mental health process, and we understand that Penny also gives us some mental health benefits. Again, like you were saying about the co-regulation, when you're feeling heightened and you have that feeling of heightenedness, Penny will sense that. Penny's going to jump right over and want to chat with you a bit, kind of talk with you and sit and cuddle with you. Then there's the whole matching. I'm thinking also of like a cat where they're purring and you're just like, it just regulates
rhythm,
you,
right?
right? That rhythm,
with,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then another piece that I just think about is that benefits is when they are sensing that anxiety, just having that, just petting a dog or petting a cat, that in itself brings you to right? Which is why they're so great to visit some of those places like Alberta Health Services or what is it called?
Willow Square.
Willow
Okay.
Square, which is fantastic. Love it, love it.
Yep, and they also go to the University, the Keano, and the airport for travelers.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is wonderful.
And they're always looking for other opportunities. So if there's anybody in the agency or in the community that wants a PAWS visit in their agency, just contact PAWS.
That's wonderful. We have some questions that we'd like to ask you now.
All right.
Put you on the spot, right? So can you, Jody, tell us a little bit about Penny and then her role with PAWS?
So her role, I've started out with like doing the training. We did it at the airport, and we did some practice there, doing some scenarios. And we did Willow Square. We've done Alberta Health Services on the pediatric floor, and most of our time is spent in the schools because that's where I work. So I bring her into my office, and
And
especially
they love it.
during exam time, like that's the key time to bring her in. That's keep everybody calm. Hey, yeah.
She does, just her presence and
Mhm.
even her eyes. When I was looking at her earlier, she's just so calming to be
Mhm.
around. It's
Right.
it's really beautiful. I could see how students in the school would love that before they're doing an exam, and just spending some time with Penny would just kind of regulate them again, right?
Mhm. And it's interesting how she senses that. She'll go around different people in the classroom and make sure that people are like connected, and
That is wonderful. So
you're good at your
can
job,
anyone be a part of PAWS? Any animal?
Animals that have paws. So
With literal paws.
Literal paws. So
Okay.
pigs are not part of paws. It's mostly cats and dogs.
Okay.
And there's mostly dogs in the program. There's one cat that I'm aware of that's registered right now. So yeah, it's mostly like the pets that have that right temperament.
Right.
And then you can go for an assessment, and they can pre-screen you and see if the animal is a good fit for PAWS. And then from there you can go through and do their training, and then kind of practice with them, and they'll give you some feedback and some strategies to work with. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yep. Yeah, because there isn't necessarily tricks or certain things they need to be able to do, right? It's more.
It's more about the temperament.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. They have to have the right, the general obedience for
Yeah.
sit and stay and
Yeah.
follow you, and connected to the handler. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did mention before, just in our counselors meeting earlier, that she's trained to like walk around wheelchairs and do all those pieces that we may not be thinking about.
Yes.
But if you're
yeah.
going into like a senior's home or in the hospital, that may be things we have to be cognizant of. And so
Mhm.
she is very comfortable around that.
Yeah, and also going into elevators and different
Right.
areas within a building. Like some animals just don't.
Noises and
yeah.
startling.
It's
She
too
gets it.
overwhelming for them. So when she goes in the classroom, like a crowd of students around her, she doesn't mind.
Yeah.
She's
And what is her
cute.
favorite part, do you think, about her volunteer work?
She loves to do door to door. Like when we went to Willow Square, and it was almost like we were visiting different people, going to their rooms and knocking. And she loves just kind of that different environment, sniff around and explore. I find if she's in a classroom and just in a room and kids are coming into her, she kind of gets bored, and she's like, "Where do they come from?" Like, and she wants to go in the hallway and look around and explore. But
So what is the difference between a pet in your home versus PAWS animal?
there's a lot of similarities. Like she is my pet, but I guess a pet in your home, that's their environment, and they're comfy, and they just kind of like get in their element. So when she's at home, she'll she'll be at the window and looking at the for squirrels and whatnot. So if you see
She's
squirrel,
being a pet.
yeah.
She's
Yeah.
being a pet at home.
Yeah.
She's just loving it
Yeah.
all, but she
Yeah,
has
so
duty.
there's loving the comfort, and we can snuggle and pet her, and there's a lot of similarities that way. But with the therapy dog, they have to have like that calming ambiance and just a connection to their handler, and they can't like take off. And
Mhm.
so a lot of, when I go into different places, they'll often say, "My dog would not be acting like that. They would be running around. They'd be
Right.
barking. They'd
Right.
be, so yeah."
Definitely. Because who would benefit from visits with Penny
I think
and all the other
almost
dogs?
anyone
right?
could
Yeah.
benefit. Yes, yeah. Like I say, like you would bring it in the schools for the students, but the staff get a lot out of it too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so if people want to learn more about it, or they have a pet at home that maybe they're considering, thinking that they might be a good fit, or
Ooh.
they have people that they would like Penny and all the other pets to visit,
Yeah,
how would
right.
somebody go about connecting?
So yeah, if you want to get connected with PAWS, they're on the website. So it's www.pawsymm.ca. That would have more information. You can fill out a form to request a visit,
Okay.
or you can fill out another little questionnaire thing like, I want to get in contact with you, I have some questions, blah, blah, blah. Or you can email them directly or phone them directly as well.
That is fantastic. Well, I think that's pretty much everything then, right? That is fantastic. We loved every moment with you, Penny. Thank you for coming and joining us today. And why is Penny here today? Because what?
Your mental health.
Your mental health matters.